Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to learn 50 words from Season 1, Episode 2 of Wednesday. Throughout the video, I'll ask if you remember one of them. So, listen carefully. Ready? Let's go.
Whiskers. 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 The cat's whiskers twitched as it sniffed the air. Long, stiff hairs on the face of an animal, often used for sensing. Eerie. 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 An eerie silence filled the room after the lights went out, strangely unsettling or frightening. Erratic. 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 Her driving became increasingly erratic as the rain got heavier, unpredictable or inconsistent in behaviour or movement.
To run off. To run off. To run off. He saw the teacher coming and ran off before she could ask any questions, to leave suddenly and quickly, often without warning. To run away. To run away. To run away. She ran away from home when she was 16 and lived on her own for a year. To flee a situation, often to escape danger, responsibility, or a particular place.
To shoot a bow. To shoot a bow. To shoot a bow. She shot a bow with surprising accuracy for his first try. To fire an arrow using a bow. To sweep. To sweep. To sweep. The police swept the entire warehouse after reports of suspicious activity, to search an area thoroughly, especially for evidence or danger.
Troopers. 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 The troopers arrived within minutes to secure the scene after the alarm was triggered. Uniformed police officers, or soldiers, often part of a state or military force. To stumble upon. To stumble upon. To stumble upon. We stumbled upon a hidden garden behind the old library to find something by chance without looking for it.
Mere. 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 He lost the race by a mere second, only just, used to emphasise how small or unimportant something is.
Whiskers. The cat's whiskers twitched as it sniffed the air. Long, stiff hairs on the face of an animal, often used for sensing.
Mayor. 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 The mayor gave a speech to open the town's annual book fair, the elected head of a town, city or local council.
Seeing-eye dogs. Seeing-eye dogs. Seeing-eye dogs. She walks confidently through the busy streets with the help of her seeing-eye dog. Dogs specially trained to guide people who are blind or visually impaired. To cover up. To cover up. To cover up. They tried to cover up the mistake before the media found out. To hide the truth about something, especially wrongdoing. Gateway trait. Gateway trait. Gateway trait. Some psychologists consider lying a gateway trait to more serious behaviour, a characteristic that may lead to more extreme or harmful actions.
Trigger. 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 Loud noises can trigger his anxiety, something that causes a strong emotional or physical response. If you were to ask politely, she might reconsider her decision, used to imagine a hypothetical action and its possible result. To get rid of. To get rid of. To get rid of. He finally got rid of those old clothes cluttering the wardrobe, to remove or dispose of something unwanted.
To make up something. To make up something. To make up something. I made it all up just to get out of trouble. To invent a lie or story that isn't true. Flare. 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 There was a sudden flare of light as the match was struck, a brief burst of bright light or emotion.
To steer. To steer. To steer. He tried to steer the conversation away from politics, to guide or direct something, literally or figuratively.
If you were to ask politely, she might reconsider her decision, used to imagine a hypothetical action and its possible result.
Glare. 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 She gave him a glare that could freeze boiling water, a fierce or angry stare. Hive. 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 The kitchen was a hive of activity before the guests arrived, a place full of busy activity. To prop up. To prop up. To prop up. She was propping up the books with a small decorative figurine, to support something physically or figuratively. To yak. To yak. To yak. They were still yakking on the phone when I went to bed, to talk continuously, especially about trivial matters.
To stalk. To stalk. To stalk. She laughed and said, "Relax, I'm not stalking him, I just happened to be nearby." To follow someone secretly and obsessively. Never you mind. Never you mind. Never you mind. Never you mind what I'm doing. It's none of your concern. Used to tell someone not to ask or worry about something.
To give a damn. To give a damn. To give a damn. I don't give a damn what they think. I'm doing it my way. To care about something. Usually used negatively. To creep someone out. To creep someone out. To creep someone out. That old doll really creeps me out. To make someone feel uneasy or scared. To sneak. To sneak. To sneak. He tried to sneak into the cinema without a ticket, To move secretly and quietly to avoid being noticed.
Fangs, fangs, fangs. The wolf bared its fangs and growled, long pointed teeth used to bite or tear.
To sneak. He tried to sneak into the cinema without a ticket, to move secretly and quietly to avoid being noticed.
Sinking, sinking, sinking. He had a sinking feeling that something was very wrong, a feeling of dread or the act of going down in water. Fuzzy, fuzzy, fuzzy. I only have a fuzzy memory of that summer, unclear or blurry, visually or mentally. To outweigh, to outweigh, to outweigh. The benefits of the new system outweigh the costs, to be more important or significant than something else.
Sanctimonious smirk, sanctimonious smirk, sanctimonious smirk. He gave me a sanctimonious smirk when I admitted I was wrong, a smug or self-righteous facial expression. Riddles, riddles, riddles. She loved challenging us with strange little riddles at dinner, puzzling questions with hidden meanings. Nether, nether, nether. He claimed he'd seen something strange in the nether tunnels, relating to something lower, underground or hidden.
To row across, to row across, to row across. We had to row across the lake before nightfall, to move across water using oars.
To sink. To sink. To sink. The old canoe finally sank after years of use, to go down below the surface of water. Willing. 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 She was willing to help even though she was exhausted, ready or prepared to do something.
Payback. 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 He saw it as payback for how she'd treated him, revenge or retribution for something done. Sinking. He had a sinking feeling that something was very wrong, a feeling of dread or the act of going down in water. To snap at. To snap at. To snap at. Sorry, I snapped at you. I was just stressed out. To speak sharply or angrily, often without meaning to. Wounds. 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 The nurse cleaned his wounds and covered them with bandages. Injuries to the body, especially cuts or damage to the skin.
To take down. To take down. To take down. She's determined to take down her opponent in the final match, to defeat or bring someone down, especially in a challenge. To assume. To assume. To assume. Don't assume she's angry just because she's quiet. To suppose something is true without evidence.
Upheaval. 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 The country faced political upheaval after the elections, a sudden major disruption or change. Inner. 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 He rarely talks about his inner thoughts, relating to one's private emotions or thoughts.
Disclosure. 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 The disclosure of that information changed everything. The act of revealing something previously hidden.
Besides. 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 Besides, we already tried that and it didn't work. Used to add extra information or justification. Loner. 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 He's always been a bit of a loner, preferring books to people. Someone who prefers to be alone. To placate. To placate. To placate. She placated the angry customer with a refund and apology, to calm someone down by satisfying or reassuring them. Upheaval. The country faced political upheaval after the elections, a sudden major disruption or change. Whiskers. The cat's whiskers twitched as it sniffed the air. Long, stiff hairs on the face of an animal, often used for sensing. Eerie. An eerie silence filled the room after the lights went out, strangely unsettling or frightening. Erratic. Her driving became increasingly erratic as the rain got heavier, unpredictable or inconsistent in behaviour or movement.
To run off. He saw the teacher coming and ran off before she could ask any questions, to leave suddenly and quickly, often without warning. To run away. She ran away from home when she was 16 and lived on her own for a year. To flee a situation, often to escape danger, responsibility, or a particular place.
To shoot a bow. She shot a bow with surprising accuracy for his first try. To fire an arrow using a bow. To sweep. The police swept the entire warehouse after reports of suspicious activity. To search an area thoroughly, especially for evidence or danger.
Troopers. The troopers arrived within minutes to secure the scene after the alarm was triggered. Uniformed police officers, or soldiers, often part of a state or military force. To stumble upon. We stumbled upon a hidden garden behind the old library, to find something by chance without looking for it.
Mere. He lost the race by a mere second, only just, used to emphasise how small or unimportant something is. Mayor. The mayor gave a speech to open the town's annual book fair, the elected head of a town, city or local council.
Seeing-eye dogs. She walks confidently through the busy streets with the help of her seeing-eye dog. Dogs specially trained to guide people who are blind or visually impaired. To cover up. They tried to cover up the mistake before the media found out. To hide the truth about something, especially wrongdoing. Gateway trait. Some psychologists consider lying a gateway trait to more serious behaviour, a characteristic that may lead to more extreme or harmful actions.
Trigger. Loud noises can trigger his anxiety, something that causes a strong emotional or physical response. If you were to ask politely, she might reconsider her decision, used to imagine a hypothetical action and its possible result. To get rid of. He finally got rid of those old clothes cluttering the wardrobe, to remove or dispose of something unwanted.
To make up something. I made it all up just to get out of trouble. To invent a lie or story that isn't true. Flare. There was a sudden flare of light as the match was struck. A brief burst of bright light or emotion.
To steer. He tried to steer the conversation away from politics, to guide or direct something, literally or figuratively. Glare. She gave him a glare that could freeze boiling water, a fierce or angry stare. Hive. The kitchen was a hive of activity before the guests arrived, a place full of busy activity. To prop up. She was propping up the books with a small decorative figurine, to support something physically or figuratively. To yak. They were still yakking on the phone when I went to bed, to talk continuously, especially about trivial matters.
To stalk. She laughed and said, "Relax, I'm not stalking him, I just happened to be nearby." To follow someone secretly and obsessively. Never you mind. Never you mind what I'm doing. It's none of your concern. Used to tell someone not to ask or worry about something.
To give a damn. I don't give a damn what they think. I'm doing it my way. To care about something. Usually used negatively. To creep someone out. That old doll really creeps me out. To make someone feel uneasy or scared. To sneak. He tried to sneak into the cinema without a ticket. To move secretly and quietly to avoid being noticed.
Fangs. The wolf bared its fangs and growled. Long pointed teeth used to bite or tear.
Sinking. He had a sinking feeling that something was very wrong, a feeling of dread or the act of going down in water. Fuzzy. I only have a fuzzy memory of that summer, unclear or blurry, visually or mentally. To outweigh. The benefits of the new system outweigh the costs, to be more important or significant than something else.
Sanctimonious smirk. He gave me a sanctimonious smirk when I admitted I was wrong, a smug or self-righteous facial expression. Riddles. She loved challenging us with strange little riddles at dinner, puzzling questions with hidden meanings. Nether. He claimed he'd seen something strange in the Nether tunnels, relating to something lower, underground or hidden.
To row across. We had to row across the lake before nightfall to move across water using oars.
To sink. The old canoe finally sank after years of use, to go down below the surface of water. Willing. She was willing to help even though she was exhausted, ready or prepared to do something.
Payback. He saw it as payback for how she'd treated him, revenge or retribution for something done. To snap at. Sorry I snapped at you, I was just stressed out. To speak sharply or angrily, often without meaning to. Wounds. The nurse cleaned his wounds and covered them with bandages. Injuries to the body, especially cuts or damage to the skin.
To take down. She's determined to take down her opponent in the final match, to defeat or bring someone down, especially in a challenge. To assume. Don't assume she's angry just because she's quiet. To suppose something is true without evidence.
Upheaval. The country faced political upheaval after the elections, a sudden major disruption or change. Inner. He rarely talks about his inner thoughts, relating to one's private emotions or thoughts.
Disclosure. The disclosure of that information changed everything. The act of revealing something previously hidden.
Loner. He's always been a bit of a loner, preferring books to people, someone who prefers to be alone. Besides, we already tried that and it didn't work. Used to add extra information or justification. To placate. She placated the angry customer with a refund and apology, to calm someone down by satisfying or reassuring them.